Yeah, I mean, bless the Lord, royal family, Ras Infanit, aka Tesfa Selassie, checking in live with y'all. They week two, far as dealing with that blog Rastafari in America that I had not created like a couple of weeks ago. Most definitely, I mean, we want to get into like different ideology, different background, different history as it relates to Rastafari, but specifically us in America. So I want to like before I kind of get into a little bit and a reasoning as far as we on week two. I want to get into a background, and then one of the brother wanted me to kind of touch on Marcus Garvey perspective, Marcus Garvey influence in Rastafari culture. But definitely, like with me, my travel, my journey started with Bob Marley. Like in the sense of me doing music, I was looking at people, some of the great people that did music. Like when you look at somebody like Tupac, Michael Jackson, or even Bob Marley, he kind of in that category, at least for me, like at that top. So, like those three artists I named, each one of those artists really didn't get that much major radio play like that. But each one of those artists sold our shows, sold our concerts, sold our album to the point going diamond, platinum, and stuff like that. So I was in my research. I was looking at. I was just dealing with like, okay, how did those artists get to that point? And to the point I started studying Bob Marley in the sense I was kind of channeling that energy. I started putting a lot of things in my music, and then I came to the reality like when we looking at we striving to be international, striving to be universal, we gotta have like a common denominator, a common factor. So when I just look like what is something that you can find anywhere, everywhere, in any part of the world. And when I know what I came up with like the Bible, like you can find the Bible in just about any parts of the world. Like some are longer than other, where have you. But this Bible, you can find it in any part of the world, whether you're in Jamaica, Africa, Haiti, or whatever. You can find the Bible in anywhere, maybe in your respectable language. So that man said, taking an artist like Bob Marley, he incorporated a lot of Bible scriptures into his music. And then me studying him kind of led me, like I grew up in the church, but I grew up in influence in a sense by a church. But after a while, I kind of started rejecting that in a sense. So it started, I guess you know, like when you become conscious or to a certain aspect of conscious or awareness, first thing we say, first thing people say, the church lied to Jesus was a slave ship, et cetera, et cetera. We get all these different conundrums and situations, you know what I'm saying, to kind of further divide us from the church, or the Christianity church, so to speak. But that being said, more, I really like me not knowing the language of Ethiopia and nothing like that. Like my perspective, at least Selassie, even some of the things he came from like the teachers of Bob Marley or indirectly Marcus Garvey. But in a sense, but the fact that I didn't have that access to a lot of the teachings at that time directly or his imperial master, I kind of lean toward more Garveyites, and even then. Marcus Garvey put out, he used to preach a lot about Ethiopianism. He was saying like we should worship God through the spectacles of Ethiopia. The father Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob used to say like look to Ethiopia when king is crying, like princes should come out of Egypt, nation Ethiopia should spread forth their hands unto God. But so in that instant, like in that significant in his time, like Ali Selassie was crying emperor, and it kind of solidified his approach. And even then, like at that time, I still, I mean, I'm young, but at that time, like me coming into a lot of knowledge about Marcus Garvey, I still wasn't aware. I hadn't received a lot of insight about a lot of the things that His Imperial Majesty did. I mean, it might be a lot of us in America go experience the same thing. Like we get Rastafari teaching through the perspective of a lot of Ras that held up Marcus Garvey to the point that it kind of overshadowed where Ali Selassie really did and taught. But that being said, I was doing the research on the UN. Neil, like they brother Marcus Garvey did create an international movement, like off of the motto Africa for the Africans, like dealing with all the black people of the world. And that being said, like out of this, you know what I'm saying, he also had a newsletter, man, he also had a newspaper, the Negro World, I ain't know, I ain't finna butcher that, but I forgot the name of the article on the newspaper, but he did have a fleet of ship, the Black Star Line. He had a whole lot of business in Marcus Garvey, had like that predecessor to a lot of black international businessmen because of the blueprint that he laid out. I mean, of course, he got infiltrated and stuff like that in the sense a lot of things went on in his own organization where a lot of people was easily tricked or turned against him. But that's neither here nor there. But we dealing with Rastafari. I bet I know, like I was touching on that topic. Cause even what I was just saying, that a lot of blacks in America, we go through these same channels, you know what I'm saying, Market Garb, that we don't really know or have accurate documentation of what Ali Selassie taught or what he brought forward to our but before I kind of go into Ali Selassie, like his accolades and, you know what I'm saying, what kind of solidified, like the whole journey for me, you know what I'm saying, on that path, but I was doing a lot of research, and it was a lot of groups and a lot of people that came out of the United Negro Improvement Association, like Marcus Garvey organization, that became like, I want to say like Ethiopianness, you know, in the sense of Ethiopianism. It was a guy by the name of Grover Cleveland. They were considering themselves Kushites and had a whole movement in Harlem. And also it's another group that I seen, the Jew, this Moors Zionist Jews or something like that. But it was dealing with looking back to Ethiopia, like, and a lot of us identifying like our royalty, our line with Ethiopia. So it ain't really nothing new under the sun. It's just a lot of us just kind of waking up into this. So that being said, fast forward, like with Ali Selassie, like learning about that, their brother wrote the Universal Declaration of Human Rights that the UN, United Nations, use as the mission statement, or their mission statement now. That was powerful hearing about that and seeing that influence, and also to hear that their brother wrote, interceded with Kennedy, like gave him a lot of, wrote a lot of reforms on the behalf of the civil rights and movement on behalf of us as a people, black people in the world, black people specifically in America, like identifying like rain reform to kind of do away with slavery at that time. And also the brother is the pioneer by bringing some groups together in Africa with the organization of African Unity, which is now the African Union. He was the first president, and that's why the headquarters sits in Addis Ababa, in Ethiopia, and they're gonna forever be the headquarters. You know what I'm saying? Due to the gift of the blessing of His Imperial Majesty, and but also even going deeper, like this brother knew like over 17 different languages. He was real diplomatic. He know how to handle business. You know what I'm saying? In a way that was supposed to be needed. A lot of people, a lot of black folk, they get caught up in the propaganda that they put out. I mean, it was the same situation like how they did Tupac and Biggie. The one image they would show Ali Selassie like he living like a king, or you know what I'm saying, like he beyond peasantry and everything. That show an image of starving Ethiopian and try to come flat like, oh, the emperor living royal, but the people suffering. But all that stuff was propaganda, and it didn't have no battle when Marcus Garvey came out and criticized the emperor for going exiling in England when Italy had, you know what I'm saying, domicile in Ethiopia for them 5 years to see what was going on. Like, first off, like, we dealing with, let look at the whole situation right here. Like, when you up against an opponent that got more weaponry than you, more resources than you, ideally you can't fight that battle like, you know what I'm saying, you can't fight that battle how in an animalistic way. You gotta go on a mental level. And that's what His Imperial Majesty did. He went to the League of Nations to try to talk to the world government or the people in the government to try to deal with that. He went to Britain. He went to a lot of the different so-called quote-unquote New World type of nation to try to build alliances to ultimately help their people and free people from that sickening situation of Italy, from the Italian. Also, but that's a whole nother story we gotta be mindful of when we looking at that. Like that's a whole different story in itself. But still, like my looking at that, and also the brother did say he ain't just the king or the representative of Ethiopia. He representative of all black people in the world, specifically mainly like a lot of us in America. So I mean, I challenge a lot of Jamaican too. Y'all, my brother, love you, but this whole thing, like a lot of people try to hell up or try to persecute us or try to say that we ain't official Ross by being in the West. But you know what I'm saying? His Imperial Majesty visited was only in Jamaica for like 3 and some days. He spent months in America. He spent, you know what I'm saying? He spent months here in the United States of America. You know, he also dealing with Canada and all that. So it was not to say, not to put our brothers in Jamaica down and then like we still brother, we still, you know what I'm saying, on the same playing field. But the whole thing is we can't shine another one trying to say that, trying to say, hold like one trying to hold their own, way to put it, home, you know what I'm saying, hold their own ownership to His Imperial Majesty, try to hold ownership to Rastafari. Rastafari is Ali Selassie pre-coordination name, so it wasn't no nation that their brother didn't visit. So I mean, all of us calling ourselves on His Imperial Majesty's name, whether it be Selassie or, you know what I'm saying, Rastafari, we still on the same level field. But I do, you know what I'm saying, acknowledge that reggae is also, you know what I'm saying, pushed on a lot of knowledge or a lot of good propaganda out for, you know what I'm saying, His Imperial Majesty. It kind of became a primary voice for the whole Rastafari movement. But as a whole, a lot of this stuff was developing everywhere. We got to deal, you know what I'm saying, the white supremacy, the white power struggle went just in, you know what I'm saying, the colonies or the colony territory. It was in all over the world. These people divided Africa just like they divided the Americas. So ultimately, this is the same beast and dragon that we dealing with and fighting in this present time. They constantly dividing us, like on that level. I was looking at the documentary on Mortimer Plano. He was speaking with the brother Muda Baru, but it was just interesting what he said. He was like, one, you know what I'm saying, even in the Rastafari earlier movement, we was all ones were speaking with one voice, but then what happened, people wanted to be important, or people wanted to speak, or people wanted to be seen in that light. So it's still the same thing. We dealing with the ego. Like, I mean, it doesn't matter who's speaking, long as we getting the message out. I mean, we can agree or to disagree on that. Cause it really ain't about the one being in the limelight. I mean, that's a Eurocentric way of thinking about success. Cause they want to isolate it. Like one, they always looking at it like one got to be on top. But why we can't all be leaders? And you know what I'm saying, the government, why we all can't be king and honoring that one king in heaven? You know what I'm saying? That's how we gotta look at it. Like we all on the same level of playing field. You might know some more than what I know. I might know some more than you know, but we all, you know what I'm saying, together like Allah, arm, leg, on head. It one body. Yeah, you know what I mean? But I know we coming up on that time, family. We gonna reason with I and I in a little bit next week. Where have you pretty much y'all submit questions to my inbox and start get at me like things y'all want me to reason upon. But definitely we gonna keep it moving like that. God bless. I mean, one love. Ras Infanit, a.k.a. Tesfa Selassie, signing out.